Nintopic Podcast, all things Nintendo.
Thirsty.
Yeah!
Welcome to the Nintopic Podcast. We are here. We are live. It is Friday. It is podcast day, and it is the best time of the week, right? Because it's Friday, and of course, because of the podcast that you've been waiting all week for this, and now we're here. Thank you so much for being here. We are streaming in more locations than ever, about 25 locations. Like I just lost count wherever we're streaming. We're streaming on Polygon Network. We're streaming on Lily Hyrule. We're streaming on the Odyssey, and we're streaming just basically everywhere. So welcome wherever you are streaming from or watching from. Go ahead and leave that down in the chat so that we can say hello to wherever you're watching us. Facebook, Instagram, X. We got Twitch. We got actually we're streaming on all platforms, like even Kick. I have crazy, right? So welcome to the podcast. We are here, and of course, shout out to Joy CJ in the chat, our Nintopic Podcast co-host. She is recovering, and she'll be hopefully soon with us again, hopefully next week. And Zach will pop in any moment now, like a little balloon popping in at any moment now. And then of course, I'm gonna introduce to you the all-star cast that we have today with us, all the way from Hyrule. I think she's like a neighbor with with Joycey because I know Joycey is apparently Zelda's mama. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Lily is from Hyrule, so I'm guessing that Lily is kind of related to the royal family in some sort of way.
Yeah, we are going to be related soon because yeah, two members loving Zelda. That's really I'm liking that. Like I
Yeah.
that is truly something that I'm looking forward to. So
And
yeah.
how are you doing? How are you doing? And at the same time, if you've been playing any games you want to share.
Yeah, thank you. So I've been doing great. I've been playing Crash Bandicoot. I think that's definitely some other titles. Like I'm not just crazy for Zelda and action games and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
also enjoy a lot of platformers. And I bought the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy a while back, and it has been collecting dust in my, in my desk all the time, and I
Mhm.
started playing that again. So it's always great to go back to that amazing game. Very frustrating game, but really rewarding at the same time. So that's what I've been doing. Any other games that I'm looking forward to play? I pretty much got the Final Fantasy's remake because I played it, but I've never actually completed it. I did
Yeah.
play the original one, of course, but
Mhm.
that one I have not played it. I am currently playing still Final Fantasy Rebirth as well, but
Mhm.
that's the one I'm looking forward to play because I recently bought it. I went to GameStop yesterday and I got it. So
Oh,
yay!
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that's what I'm doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
so far so
and
good.
Power Guild Network. How are you, sir? Power Ranger. We have the Green Power Ranger. Making a cameo today. And what have you been playing lately? Now that
That's
you're
right. Well, as I mentioned earlier to the two of you,
Yes.
fortunately, I have been able to get back to playing because my hand has healed quite significantly and is in that process of full recovery without the need of surgery, which is awesome. So I
Yay.
have been able to play for the first time in a while, not only just using a Joy-Con and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
uh, I've been playing Fortnite. I got back into Final Fantasy Rebirth, which is what I had to take off for like 3.5 weeks.
Mhm.
And I went back to playing my file of Princess Peach Showtime, which I'm just about to beat. And yeah, I like the game quite a bit. It's pretty fun.
That's awesome. Princess Peach Showtime and then Fire Emblem, you said?
Final Fantasy
Oh,
Rebirth.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, that's one same one you're about to play now, right? Are you're about to play Final Fantasy Remake or Rebirth? Lily.
I am currently playing Rebirth, and I'm
Yeah.
about to start. Well, I did play Remake when it first
Mhm.
came out, but I never
Okay.
completed that one. So I am going to complete that game now.
Oh,
So yes, I will be playing Final Fantasy Remake.
awesome. Awesome. So I'm guessing we're all playing Final Fantasy Rebirth because that's what I'm playing too as well.
Right.
Right. And I'm also, like I said, I've installed my Wii U here. I've actually bought a Wii U recently,
Nice.
just so that I can play some Wii U games. Bought it when Nintendo turned it off, the
Mhm.
online functionality, but that's okay because I'm playing Wind Waker, more playing Wind Waker, but I'm not sure whether I should continue because I made a poll on the channel. What game do you guys want to see me play live on the channel? Wind Waker won, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait
Yes.
in a way, and then do I have never passed that game. I've never defeated it. I know the ending because I've heard it so many times
Mm.
from others talk about it, right? But they spoiled it. They spoiled the ending
Oh,
from the fact that
really?
the fact that that little lady was Princess Zelda the entire time. I'm like, oh man, come on. And,
No,
Uh
spoilers are the worst, man.
yeah,
yeah.
I know, right? After what 20 years.
Yes, yes, pretty much 20 years. That's how long. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'm playing that game. So I put down Final Fantasy Rebirth for now, and I picked up Zelda, but I'm guessing I'll pick up Rebirth now offline, and then play online with my friends on the channel, Wind Waker. So that's what's happening behind the scenes, and of course, what I've been doing is getting the show ready, right? Getting the Mike Odyssey show ready. There's so much that goes behind like producing an actual show because I have way my standards are way too high. This is my fourth year on YouTube,
Mm.
and so I want to take it to the next level, right? And so I'm actually producing a real show, and this is a one man show. It's a studio. I edit. I do everything,
Mm.
and so I'm gearing up the studio so that I can do everything on my own without having to change lenses, without having to change cameras and a whole bunch of things, just to make sure that I'm consistent with the content and then the quality stays consistent all throughout. So that's what I've been doing behind the scenes. If you are a member, there's a video going up soon behind the scenes of what's happening, and you get a sneak peek of what I purchased, what thing is where it's going, and of course a tour of what's new in the studio and everything. I'm about to get a new TV. That one is 65. The new one is 100 inches. So it's gonna be like it's gonna serve as a TV, like in the background, but it's also gonna serve as a background. So when I do certain spots in the new show, I can be standing there and it looks like it's taking the entire wall, which is pretty cool. And I didn't have to spend a dime because it's a sponsor who's shipping over a TV. So
Wow.
shout
Oh,
out to you
cool.
whenever that happens, because I'm not gonna tell you, I can't talk right now, but whenever that happens,
Soon.
yeah, soon. But yeah, we are live, guys. I don't know if you've heard the news, but we have it. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna discuss it. And if you have been waiting for something, I'm not gonna tell you to lose hope. I'm not gonna tell you to not wait. I'm just gonna, you know, I think let's go ahead and get straight into the topic right now. Let me do a recap here, and then Lily will take over and read for us a specific post by a specific person who specifically said something specific about a specific show. So let's go ahead.
Something.
If y'all know, the current topic is the Nintendo Direct, and let me go ahead. We can go ahead here. The current topic trending is the Nintendo Direct. Why? Why the Nintendo Direct? Because, well, Nintendo is silent. Nintendo's very, very quiet. It's like very, very quiet. It's like I put in the video, it's a little too quiet, right? And either when I mean quiet, I don't mean when it comes to sharing things on Twitter, because they share things on Twitter all the time on third-party games. They recently shared Pac-Man, which is a really cool game, the new one coming out. Amongst their regular promotion for Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, Princess Peach, they shared a really cool poster of Princess Peach. So you should guys just go copy it, print it out, have a poster, which is because it's really nice. If you guys have seen it, go to Nintendo Twitter, and then you'll see a poster of Princess Peach, which is really awesome. And stuff like that. But when it comes to Nintendo first party games, right? Nintendo's off script. They're not following the script. They're trolling every single one of us. And we don't know what's happening with Nintendo behind the scenes. I know they're cooking something. Doesn't smell like anything yet. But they're cooking something. So we just have to wait. But in the meantime, we've all been having this desire and this dream of that Nintendo Direct happening in the month of April because of a certain leaker who published some information, right? And very quickly, this leaker is called PH Brazil. He's the one responsible for leaking the information, the very first one who spoke about the Nintendo Switch 2 delay, right? And so every other leaker jumped on top of that and said, "Hey, that's true, that's true." So that's why that way he gained instant credibility with that one leak. Then the next day, "Hey guys, guess what? We're getting an Indie Direct, woohoo, yippee!" You know, and then we're getting a Nintendo Direct, right? You know, and then we're like, "Really awesome!" And so ever since then, we've been waiting until today. So I would have had Lily take it away. Read what Mr. PH Blurpity Blurp said in his latest.
All right. So it reads as follows. Hey everyone. Didn't want to leave you hanging for the entire month, so here I am. You remember that info that I had back during the Switch 2 delay was that we had a direct in April and an Indie World presentation prior to that. I had those talks a couple of days after the Switch 2 discussion, but I now believe that the event info itself was already outdated at that point. I no longer believe we'll get a direct this month. Apart from one person who heard some rumbling 2 weeks ago, no one else seems to have heard anything about the April Direct since then, which they probably would have at this point. One source in particular that had talked about an April Direct before is now expecting that next want to happen around the obvious Summer Game Fest timeframe. So late May, early June, and there's an edit as well. Maybe even this is also wrong. So, but we'll get PlayStation/Xbox events in the next, in that time frame, but at least. And the Indie World seems to be, have been planned to be aired pre GDC, but I also guess that those plans went out the window immediately as well. Anyway, that's it. The beauty of talking about planned events date months in advance. Haha. I'll catch flack for this, and that's all right. But hopefully that helped people settle back and enjoy the games coming out instead of getting anxious over more announcements for a while. There's another edit. Also, obligatory apologies to anyone who was really looking forward to this due to my early info. I've said this before, but I only said anything because I was on cloud 9 that week, and I probably should have restrained myself. Haha. And that's it.
And the end of it. So basically, that was PH Brazil. He released a statement just to kind of give us an update on that leak, because nobody followed after that. No one else heard anything after that. So came later on. Okay, I'm going to give you props. I'll give him props because he came up. He owned up to the information he released, and he publicly apologized for the information. According to what he said, is that it's outdated information. I don't know how information becomes outdated. Maybe he got information too soon, or he heard it only from one source instead of confirming. He released it right away. So that's what I'm guessing he did. He heard it from one source, released it right away, and he could have. That's why he could have held on to it. But he was on cloud 9. Why was he on cloud 9? Well, because he was the very first one who actually mentioned about the Nintendo Switch 2 being delayed to 2025, and then all of these credible insiders joined right away, and so he was. I'm pretty sure he was overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, everybody's talking about me. I'm on this channel. I'm on this YouTube channel. I'm on this website. Everybody literally picked it up, right? And so, he was on cloud 9 that week, and the excitement of it all, it's understandable. So kudos to PH Brazil for basically releasing that statement today. That does not necessarily mean Nintendo has nothing planned. Is that we just don't know. I can't tell you nothing is happening in April because no one knows. And no one but Pyoro, which is Miyamoto in disguise. I know that for a fact, or either Miyamoto or his son. If what Pyoro says is not a leak, it's a spoiler. Okay, so that's not even a leaker. That's just some guy that works for Nintendo. And by the way, didn't you guys see that his location leaked? He lives in Japan. So I will not rule out that that's Miyamoto's son, his cousin, his brother, his nephew, or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure Paul Gale knows Pyoro because Paul Gale is friends with Miyamoto. That's the only leaker that I know that could actually say or hint something, and nobody doubts at all, right? But for now, this one source that we had, and the reason why we were sharing that source was because, of course, he got that first. I can't say he got that the first information right, because it hasn't happened yet, But other credible leakers joined him, and so that's why the Nintendo community joined him as well. So, but he released that today, and apparently to him, he's not sure we're getting something. I think it was 2 videos ago where I mentioned, okay, if we would have gotten something, first thing, if we would have gotten an Indie World Showcase and a Direct, I think we would have heard something by now.
Yeah.
Because if we're getting two back to back, we would have. It's already April 12th. This coming week we hit mid-April, right? And I'm not gonna rule out that Nintendo next week pulls something out. I can't say they are, but I can't say they won't or they will. We just don't know, and I think it's exciting a little bit not knowing, because they can do anything at any moment. And we wake up one day and see this announcement, and I think it'll be just a bit more exciting than if we knew something was coming. And this is just me devastating. What do you? How do you guys feel? I'm going to throw it out to Paul. Paul, how do you feel? How did you feel about this? The the update for the Nintendo Direct not apparently not happening according to Mr. PH Brazil.
The pardon me, the person could have learned something new that leads it to being less likely to happen and just wanting to temper people's expectations, and that's fine. It could also be accurate information, or the information was never the most accurate in the first place, and then just having that self-doubt and wanting to kind of cut the losses before it gets too bad, which is kind of like the aforementioned, but kind of two different ways of cutting people's expectations to not get them mad at you. One is because you heard more information, and one you just don't have a good feeling anymore. But regardless, understandable why. I know some people will be upset that you hung the apple and then took it out in the first place, but that's the risk when you're following anybody with information. I've received information in the past, and sometimes it was just a rumor that I decided to share that was flat out not accurate and I didn't know. And sometimes I've learned things on my own that this was planned in some capacity, or that it was something that was laid out there on the table, which just never came to. And when it doesn't, you still get kind of, hammered by a certain audience. So good though, at least that he was upfront, or she, or the individual, they were upfront. But I'm kind of like what you said, Mike. I'm kind of like on your side of it too. We've got 18 days of April left. It is possible to still get it. I guess to be safe, just don't anticipate something. But looking at the calendar, the best case scenario, right, is like 17th is something indie world related, and then 24th, a week later, would be Nintendo Direct. Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. I doubt that they would throw in both on the same week, but you never know. But the Nintendo financial report, that's May 8th or May 6th. That's coming up very soon too. So if you wanted to really go big with the fans, you would have like a 17th, a 24th, and that 6th or 8th. And fans such as us, we do like when Nintendo shares the system that has now hit 141 million and this and that, because that's like your sports team having a touchdown, sinking that basket, like having that next accolade. So even though it's not news in terms of what we're going to play, it's still cool stuff to get. So I don't know. I'm not mad at all if it doesn't happen. My faith was, reasonably in check from the get-go, realizing this could be a thing. Before I really buy into it and say, yeah, it's happening, did I think it could? Right? And that's why I always thought, yeah, I think it could. And that's sort of where I was, why I was calm about it and hyped, but not unnecessarily so, because I was like, Nintendo did have something in February, but it's not their typical year yet. So I could see an April thing. Yeah. Okay. I'll give it a 40% chance that it's going to happen,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm a little bit back and forth with it, but I'm not mad. We've got games, and we know that there's going to be more games, so it's all good.
Yeah, for some reason this year is so different. For the first time, I don't find myself upset anymore, or even let down or anything, because it's been a different year with a different atmosphere, and you're always expecting something to happen, and it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, right? But in the meantime, we do have Paper Mario, we have Luigi's Mansion in the books, and those are two really great games that a lot of people have not played. I know I haven't played Paper Mario, I was in your door, and I'm looking forward to that game. So, we have that there. Lily, what do you think? What do you think about the news? Does it affect you in any way? How do you feel about it?
Well, we talked about it last week. What will break it for us, and we'll definitely, we agree, you and I, Mike, with not having a director at all, right? But I also agree with Paul that we're still 18 days in. We could probably potentially have something. I mean, it could be that it's just in the world and not a Nintendo Direct per se, because we did had a Direct, but it wasn't really like Nintendo Direct. It was a partner showcase instead. So, and I'm kind of used to or accustomed to this, Nintendo tweeting about a certain event like 2 days prior of the event. So that being said, if we are aiming for, let's say, Wednesday, April 17th, then probably we'll hear something on Monday, if that's going to happen. The other thing is that I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I've heard of, Nintendo Directs in the world very, very close to each other. I wouldn't say like the same week, but it almost feels like it was the same week. I can recall something happening like that. But then if we do get a Direct, it'll be, probably for the last week. And it makes sense because everybody knows this, but if whoever is watching this or listening to this does not know this, Nintendo will always try to push something on their fiscal year. They run by fiscal years. It's not just the first month of the year or the last month of the year. They have numbers to report to those investors, right? So that's part of the thing, and they do have other things going on, but just the major titles that we have are just going to be Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, and Luigi's Mansion, which I'm very excited about, by the way. But yeah, I feel like we still have a little bit of hope, but I would say don't get your hopes really high up. It's like when you're watching a movie, you watch the trailer, you're very excited, you're very hyped about it, and then when you go and watch the movie, it's not really what you were expecting. So I always tell everybody, just have your expectations a little bit below that. So let's say that we're not gonna get an April Direct, and if we do, we're gonna be very, very hyped and excited about that if that happens. So
I agree.
It is what it is.
I agree 100%. I just want to remind the chat, if you want to contribute to the current topic, and if you have a question, you want us to discuss it during the actual podcast, you can do that with any type of super chat. You can ask any question you want or contribute to what we're saying. For example, if you have your own opinion on the same topic, you can do that. If you want us to highlight it and kind of answer your question, you can do that with any super chat, or at the end of the podcast, we always have our Q&A where we'll take all the questions we can and then answer you there as well. Okay, so you have two options. You can do it during the podcast to kind of interact with us with the super chat, or you can do it towards the end with the Q&A as well. All right,
and make sure to like this video, please.
Yeah,
that helps a lot. So hit the like button, please.
We're almost at 100. We're almost at 100 already. So go ahead. We should have like at least 94 likes if possible. Thank you. You're awesome. Make sure to visit Paul Gale Network, like his page too, Lily, and like her page too. Actually, let's get all three pages to 92 likes. How about we do that? Let's have fun with that. All right. And there's two things that are happening, guys. Let's not rule out the Nintendo Direct just yet. Like, again, we want to remain balanced, right? We don't want to be like, oh, woe is me, or lose all hope, but we also don't want to be overly excited. But there are two major things that are happening. One thing I don't think I've heard anybody's talk about, but the other thing is that Hollow Knight Silksong got rated. Okay, it's on the Xbox website, so you can wish list whatever, but the fact that it was rated, it means that it's ready. Okay, that's the type of game that belongs either in an indie world or in Nintendo Direct. It depends on where it belongs. It's a game that's very well anticipated by a lot of people. I think we've been waiting like 2 years since they announced it on Nintendo Switch, right?
It's been a while,
right?
Maybe even longer. I think. I don't know. I lost track. It's been a while.
But it's finally rated, right? So that itself points to some kind of presentation happening, whether it's an Indie World Showcase or it's a Nintendo Direct, because that game belongs in either or. It belongs in the presentation. The other thing that's happening is that Microsoft has some announcements. Okay, there are some games that Microsoft is actually bringing to other consoles as well. And if you know Nintendo, you know Microsoft. Nintendo likes to announce their own things, like their own games with like inside. So I rarely hear. Maybe I hear like maybe Summer Game Fest or another presentation. Oh yeah, it's coming to Nintendo Switch. But normally Nintendo likes to wait. Okay, let's wait for our presentation. We want to announce it here and give us in the release date. So if Microsoft has anything to announce for the Switch in particular, right, then our presentation could also do that. Either I don't think the indie role will qualify because Microsoft is too big for that, right? I would say more like a Nintendo Direct will be good for Microsoft to present whatever they have. I know that there are people that were waiting on. They announced that one game, Grounded, right? Grounded in the last partner showcase, and that was from Microsoft. We were expecting two other games. One of them had to do with I'm getting a brain fart. What's the name of that other game, Paul? The shooting game
of Microsoft's that's coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, they announced
it wasn't Sea of Thieves. It was Grounded and
there was another game, but so the fact is that right now we're entering presentation season. PlayStation has Pentiment. There we go. That's the game. So we have an event happening by PlayStation soon. We have an event happening by Microsoft soon, right? And so we have the fiscal meeting happening soon on May 6th, right? May 6th. That with Nintendo, and so we know that normally around that time we always hear something from Nintendo. We hear from them, right? And so we can't really lose all hope just yet because there might be something along the way from them. We just don't know when. This is this one source that basically got some information early on, and it looks like that information has changed. We all know that it could be true. He might have heard something that might have been scheduled, but Nintendo is not following their script. They're doing whatever they can this year. And with that, I want to welcome you guys to Zach Hendricks is in the house. Welcome, Zach.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hey, hello.
Oh, geez, it is good to be here.
Thank you for hearing me. How you doing? You good?
Doing good.
Let me go ahead and throw you this question. So how are you doing? What have you been playing? And then I'll ask you a question after that. Go ahead.
Okay. I've been doing good. This last 30-ish minutes, 45 minutes has been a little crazy because you know how it is. I've been streaming at my last streams here. I was at my sister's house.
Yeah.
And so this is my first stream at home. And you know how every time you reset up your stuff, everything just breaks?
Oh,
and it's just like, oh, the camera doesn't work. I got the camera working. Oh, hey, the sound's not working. What is going on? But I am here, and I have an energy drink, so I'm about to be really good.
Awesome.
But I have been playing a little bit of Smash Ultimate.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been nice. And of course, my Fall Guys,
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Beasts and Stumble Guys. I'll skip over that part since I'm late. But but yeah, was there a third question or was that it?
So no, just wondering how you were and what you were playing. But we've been talking about Lily went ahead and read for us the new kind of what do you call that? Like a statement? Yeah, a statement. Statement put out by leaker PH Brazil, the very first guy who talked about the late for Switch 2, and then later on he talked about the potential Nintendo Direct that was happening in April, along with the indie showcase. Today he issued a statement, kind of apologizing because it looks like he had information that was outdated, and that he no longer believes that there's a Direct happening in April.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the question that I asked Paul and Lily is how they feel about that information. Knowing that Nintendo is kind of silent. I wouldn't say silent because they are on Twitter. They're showing they actually updated NSO with I think 2 games recently. We have a really old game called Blurpity Blurp something, and then one with Mario and Luigi, which is kind of weird, right? But they updated NSO. And I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel about that information about, the state of what Nintendo is and how we might not be getting anything in April by them?
I feel like everything these last 2-3 months has just kind of been big question mark after big question mark.
Yeah.
And even with that information being potentially outdated, I still feel like Nintendo's gonna announce something, even if it's a random 5-minute indie showcase.
Yeah,
Nintendo likes money, and they've been doing a really good job at making money lately. And so just letting all of their hype kind of die in the back half of the year and just being like, we got nothing, just seems a little weird to me. And so whether it's April or May, something big, small, medium, schmedium, somewhere in between. I think something's coming sooner than later.
I like that medium one.
I'm a big fan of schmediums.
All right, looks like we have a super chat. Rainbow Love. Now let's go ahead and highlight it here. It says, are Sony or Xbox as mysterious about announcements as Nintendo is? Is Nintendo switching things up on purpose? Is this a strategy or an actual delay? Who wants to take that? Let me throw that to I want to know what Paul thinks about this. What do you think, Paul?
Regarding that first part of the question, if Sony or Microsoft are as mysterious as Nintendo, they don't have as many announcements to make in the first place.
Yeah.
Because they operate a little bit differently in how they develop games. So not necessarily are they just as mysterious, but since they don't have as big of a portfolio of games that are constantly in development, it seems that way. But they also are companies that hold things to the chest, respectively, on both ends. And back in the day, they would kind of wait for that E3 for a big presentation, and then in pre social media days, we would get occasional press kits and stuff like that sent to us via email. But they're about as tight-lipped as Nintendo, but just they don't have as much to say, so maybe it's felt a little bit differently, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And is Nintendo switching things up on purpose? I think Nintendo is, because it is likely. I mean, the truth is, Nintendo Switch 2 is closer to coming out than not. We are not in the first half of Nintendo Switch anymore. We are in the second half. We don't know, though, if we're in the last quarter or the last eighth, which would imply it's coming out next year, but it's the latter half. And probably it's in that last eighth, which would mean this successor is coming out in a year or so. And Nintendo is operating just a little bit differently to, a good question, and I think this is actually a podcast discussion, so I don't want to go too far into it, but I do want to answer the question.
Yeah.
Why hold on to things? Well, think of it like this. You maximize the most amount of audience and potential by kind of having things go slow burning. Not too slow that you don't capture the right people's interest, but slow enough that you don't capture all audiences at once. Think of it like this too. If Nintendo had two movies ready to go, the Super Mario Brothers movie in April, and they did have a Donkey Kong film in May, do you think both movies would operate and sell as well? No, they would eventually compete with each other. There's a reason why you strategically put things in place. There's a reason why you don't have Breath of the Wild and then Super Mario Odyssey come out back to back. There are similar audiences, but different enough that if you stagger things, you do get each game to have its maximum sales. Right now, Nintendo's building off of the fact that, hey, we have these smaller titles that are still doing their job, keeping the system where it needs to be. Still selling a few 100,000 per month, still selling 1.x amount million, 2 million per quarter, still winning big time in Japan for the last 4 weeks in a row in the Famitsu charts, destroying the competition. In the last 3 of those 4 weeks, selling more respectively than it did for that same week in 2023. Here in year 8, selling 20,000 more, 17,000 more, 12,000 more than those same weeks last year. Let's not give more now because it's doing fine. Don't let it go to 0 because it's too hard to build momentum when there's no momentum.
Yeah.
But you could let it go down and then reinvigorate by having the direct. They must not have too much left hidden in Nintendo Switch's pipeline. That's probably why they're holding on to it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So then when this last little bit of April, May, June, people getting antsy, then again, we're the only ones getting antsy. The 4 million people online, not the 100 million plus. my son who's playing is perfectly happy with the games. My daughter is perfectly happy with the games that they have and what's available on eShop to look at. You know, the majority of the demographic out there has yet to experience the vast majority of what Nintendo Switch has to offer. So they're not clamoring for a new system. They're still buying it in the stores. So Nintendo has so many things to piece together that I think they don't have a lot left. But if they showed it now, then eventually there would be this gap that is felt between then and Nintendo Switch 2. And they might be tempted to prematurely show off NS2 just to appease everyone's interest. But right now, let this last and then shoot it off. So then from when they shoot off Nintendo Switch's last batch, there's not that big of a gap between then and NS2's announcement. It's all a part of the strategy. It's all a part of Nintendo optimizing and trying to satisfy every market, take care of their sales, everything, you know. My opinion on it, partially based off of knowing the company well, studying it, a little bit from having friends work there and having some discussions, and some of it just from take a look back at the industry and how would I want to, you know, maximize people coming to me for a task, an object, a skill set.
Yeah.
Real people in one at a time, not all eggs in one basket all at once.
Yeah.
Then it's too crowded, too overwhelming.
I really like how. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, anybody want to add to it?
I was just gonna say, I really like how, Paul, you broke this down all technical and whatnot. Like, we know you're the sales number guy. For those of you who aren't following Paul on Twitter/X yet, you should do it because it's everything he just said, except with actual numbers in it too.
Yeah.
But I also like how on the opposite side of what you said, we had Joycey leave a comment equally accurate but less technical, saying that she doesn't think Nintendo is switching up anything. It just seems that way because the Switch era, in her opinion, was better planned out than anything they've done in a while. And so we're kind of entering the calm before the storm.
Yeah. I agree. Lily, anything to add?
I feel like I totally agree with Paul and Zach about this. Also with Josie about what's happening. Like, it's not it is on purpose, but because that's the strategy here. Because I mean, if you put it like the way that they were working on previous consoles before and previous, launching titles for the consoles, it was very better, well planned compared to what we currently have on the Nintendo Switch 2. That we know it's coming. It's just we don't know if they're gonna announce it this year and release it next year. Let's say October, for example. I don't know, but it's coming. It's happening, right? So it's just a matter of how they're gonna be putting their pieces together and setting out the game board and their strategy on how to make sure that everything is well aligned with their time frames, especially because of the last two. Let's say that Paper Mario and Luigi's Mansion is going to be like the last batch of the Nintendo Switch, and then they're free to announce something a little bit more big, as the tendency tries to keeps going down. Because if we go into perspective, back when 2020 everybody was getting a Switch because everybody was lacked out and everything, so the sales went up completely crazy. And now we are, even though it's being stable, I mean, we're running out of gas here pretty much, right? So I feel like that's definitely going to be the case, and they're gonna keep on being silent until they have that kind of perfect timing for them to announce something big. So
I agree. I'm gonna keep my answer short. So the first part of the question, yeah, Nintendo is more mysterious than any other company out there. Xbox and Microsoft. Xbox and Microsoft is the company. Xbox and PlayStation. The developer, they are a little bit more open than Nintendo is. They're all guarded, but when it comes to announcing games, even games that are in development, they will announce a game is in development and tell you right away, even beforehand. With certain games, with certain franchises, we know that Call of Duty. We know the name will call the next Call of Duty. You know what I mean? It's not even, Microsoft hasn't even announced it yet, but we know the name of it and we know it's coming. We don't know when it's going to be announced, but we know that it's in development and it's going to shortly what to be announced. Nintendo is guarded, and it's more mysterious when it comes to games because I mean, look at Metroid Prime 4. I'm pretty sure they're kicking themselves in the butt by saying that game was in development. They would have just stayed quiet and then released it when it was done, right? From then on, I have not heard, besides Tears of the Kingdom, just progress, progress on a certain game, like any other game. Like only with Tears of the Kingdom have I heard so much transparency from Nintendo, and when it comes to their updates, they did that. But when it comes to everything else, they are mysterious. We never knew about Mario Wonder. Mario Wonder is there. They took their time. We found out everything about the development after the game was out, and we were all rejoicing because it's an awesome game, right? Nintendo Switch things purpose. Everything Nintendo does is on purpose. everything
Yeah.
is on purpose. Everything, and they have a strategy for everything. Sometimes things comes up. If it's true that the Nintendo Switch 2 was delayed, maybe the reason we have a gap now is because they were planning on issuing a presentation, and because those plans have changed, we have this little gap. So that could be something. But at the end, honestly, nobody will ever know. All we know is that Nintendo fans are very spoiled because we get games every single month of the year, and so once we don't get 1 month, oh no, we're jittery and we need our fix really fast. Nintendo, what's happening? Well, in reality, January, February, March. Okay, no April, but May, June. We're getting two games in May, right? PlayStation is getting 3 games in a year. Xbox is getting 2 games or whatever. So we're used to getting 10 plus games in a year. So we're kind of jittery that way. So yeah, I mean, I accept it. I'm very jittery. I'm like, shaking everything. I'm like, Nintendo, sleeping with my controller.
It is interesting the big difference between Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft, because Nintendo's the only one of the 3 big game companies that is a game company first. Like I get that Xbox is a game company, but they're owned by another company, by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Same with PlayStation and Sony, like the PlayStation could discontinue and Sony's going to be fine. Like they would take a hit obviously, but like they make everything. So, between just anything tech, it's like, oh, I want something I can play a video game with. And it's like, oh, we got something for you. And that's just like, by the way, do you also have like a TV? I could know where I could get a TV I could play this game on. Oh, we got you there too. By the way, do you want a fridge? We got one.
Yeah.
And so, even how they treat their first parties, like Nintendo, all the big games on the Switch are basically Nintendo first party games, where an Xbox first party game, like a Bethesda game's an Xbox first party, but Bethesda's still making those announcements and sharing that and whatnot. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's interesting, like how different they are structurally from the ground up.
Yeah.
That's my 4 cents on that.
Awesome. This next question comes from a member for 23 months now on the channel. Thank you, Blue Moon. She's one of our head moderators on the channel. Amazing resource. And my fantastic subscriber. I don't know what I would do without Blue Moon on the channel. She's awesome. Says, do you think Nintendo is heading for a Wii U disaster? I don't see a re-release of at 60 selling much. Switch 2 2024 hype. I don't think we're headed to any other Wii U disaster. I think Nintendo's actually positioned themselves really well with the Nintendo Switch, and they've actually perfected what they wanted to achieve, I think, forever, because Nintendo's always been a handheld gaming system. They've always been a console system. They finally were able to perfect and bring them both together and make a handheld and a home console at the same time. And that's why I think the Nintendo Switch is the best console of any generation so far, because they've been focusing all of their time into making amazing games for that one console and giving both the mobile experience and the handheld and the console experience, something that no other company has been able to do as successful as Nintendo. So what they're gonna do with the Switch 2 is continue the trend, right? Handheld, home console, better power, better graphics. They don't really have to do much. They really don't have to do much. All they have to do is just continue the success of the Switch. I know that they want a bigger screen, improve on the Joy-Cons, because improve on every little thing that the system needs because of the times we're in, not necessarily because it really needs it. The Nintendo Switch has amazing games, but because of how technology is moving forward, then the system has to move forward with technology, with the graphics and the storage. Games are bigger, so we need more space. People are blinder like me, so we need a bigger screen. Things like that. But I don't think I think Nintendo has learned from the Wii U era, and I think they've only gotten better. And the Switch is just proof of that. I think Switch is a good system to actually be excited for the next. To get you excited for the next. And $60 is actually a good price, because Nintendo's been the only company who's actually have maintained their games at a good price without increasing it over the longest period of time. It's like they've been, with all inflation happening, because I'm pretty sure Nintendo is suffering from inflation just like every other company is. They've been able to maintain their consoles at a good price range when Microsoft and Xbox both increased their system cost. And their games have been maintained at a $39, $49, $59, and $59, $6, right? They just added a new layer, which is a $70 game, and that's how I think is the Nintendo president of America explained it. What's his name again? It's not Reggie. Not Reggie.
Doug Bowser.
Mr. Bowser.
Mhm.
Bowser explained that perfectly. He said, nothing is changing. We just added another tier, because it depends on how big the game is and how many hours you're going to spend on it. Like Tears of the Kingdom is a massive game, and therefore it's a $70 game, but there will still be the $59 game, the $49 and the $39 games. Anybody wanna add?
I know at Walmart, Nintendo games are always $10 cheaper than anywhere else.
Mhm.
They come out. So you still get those $60 Nintendo games brand new for $50 at Walmart. So
Yeah, and physical is normally cheaper than digital for some reason.
Yeah.
I specifically on the is $60 too much for a re-release? I mean, you could argue subjectively that it doesn't make you feel good, and it might even make you feel because that it's a real release. But once again, we're the few million hardcore that truly know. For the 130 million that don't, they're gonna go into the store and say, dang, Luigi's Mansion 3 was so good. I remember when we bought that Halloween 2019. Wait, here's another one, Luigi's Mansion 2. We never played that, did we? Yeah, it looks good on the back of the box. $60.
Mhm.
And if you like Luigi's Mansion 3 for the 17 hours that you played that, you're probably gonna might like this game for the 17 hours that you're gonna play it. And it's gonna be a similar yet different experience. And if it's a high quality release with nice looking polygons and shadows and effects and good gameplay, which it does have, and just that much better, the vast majority of people are going to accept it as a new game and not feel any kind of weird feeling. For some people, it wouldn't be worth spending $20 on a re-release of Terminator 2 in 4K here in 2024. Because they have the old movie in their mind, they have the old DVD that was in 720p, and it's good enough. But for some people, they would say, oh, a 4K remastered version that tightens it up and it's good, I'll pay $20 again for that.
Is this real? I want it.
That's with everything. If you want it enough, there's going to be a demographic that's going to say, no, I want the best quality version of that. And to the biggest part of the audience on Nintendo Switch, these re-releases are new.
Yeah, I agree. And I another thing is that I feel that because we are getting re-releases is because, remember, the Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS games are not compatible with Nintendo Switch. So they need to re-release the system. They need to kind of remake them for the Nintendo Switch. They might be using a new engine, but they're there's still a lot of work into building up this game again in order to make it compatible and bring it to a new audience. I think that moving forward with backwards compatibility, if this is a thing, with Nintendo Switch to Nintendo Switch 2, that wouldn't be a problem just because you'll have your library of games you can bring with you. And so if they do sell it on the Switch 2, it could be for a new audience. Don't know how that's going to work, but I think that's not going to be a problem moving forward when it comes to newer games, because even Miyamoto himself said the way we're developing now, the system we're developing now, makes it easier for us to bring the back catalog forward than when we did it with Wii U and prior consoles. So him, in a way, was confirming that the next system will be backwards compatible because it's going to be easier to bring the Switch games forward with them. It's like think about Windows. What's Windows? Xbox One runs on Windows, right? And Xbox, you can play Xbox 360 games on Xbox Series X. It's always been backwards compatible all the way from the get-go. It's like I installed Minecraft the very first time on the very first Xbox, and then in Xbox Series X, I still have it right there. I can just download it. You know what I mean? It's still compatible because it's still the same software, same operating system. Nintendo has finally gotten to that point, but I think it's because because Nintendo Switch is the first system where it's 2-in-1, the hybrid and the console, and so they've actually perfected their OS. And what they're going to do from now on is improve upon that OS moving forward, making every system from now on backwards compatible with the previous console. And that's the dream. Until Nintendo announces backwards compatibility, that's it's all speculation, it's all wish lists, it's all dreams and butterflies and ponies and rainbows.
You bring up a good point though. Oh, sorry. I thought you were
Go ahead.
You bring up a good point with the Xbox reference, because like it's easier when somebody does something, it's easier for the second person to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and you can look up videos of people system linking and playing the same game locally with 4 players on an OG Xbox, a 360, an Xbox One, and an Xbox Series X, all plugged into each other, playing an OG Xbox game locally. That's so cool, and that's been done. And so like Nintendo, they're not starting from scratch. They have Xbox to reference, you know? And so I think, I'm excited for. I would be so shocked if we didn't get backwards compatibility.
Yeah, me too. I
would be bedazzled in the worst way.
It's like, for example, anybody who owns the Switch has Splatoon 3. Guess what? You'll be able to play Splatoon 3 with somebody who has Switch 2, and they're playing Splatoon 3 also online together, right? And so having that brand new OS from Nintendo moving forward is going to make that possible. But yeah, I think the future is bright for Nintendo. I think it's very, very bright. I think the best is yet to come, and I think Nintendo's about to issue its best system ever if they just improve on what is already working. Because I can't tell you that the next Nintendo will not be something completely different with Joy-Cons that fly and okay. All right, so this little thing here means that right now it has hit the hour on Instagram. So Instagram, people watching Instagram, if you want to continue, head to Facebook, because unfortunately on Instagram, they're only allowed us to stream 1 hour on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram right now, you have 1 minute before the stream ends in order to get to the other side. So we are on YouTube. We are on we are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook.
X.
Yeah, and we are on X, either at Paul Gale, Lily Hyrule, or at the Mike Odyssey channel. Are you streaming it on your site? Zach?
I am not.
Okay, so either on Lily, you can go to Lily, you can go to Paul Gale, or you can go to the Odyssey and join us there. So thank you for watching us on Instagram, and this is the end of the podcast there. Now, continuing the podcast, we have the next topic, which, by the way, this very first topic was very awesome. And thank you for the super chat. Let me go back over here. Thank you for the super chat. Wait, we have another super chat. Hello. We got another
here, J2.
Yeah, let me get. Wait. Am I letting it? I think I'm gonna get to it quick. One there, almost there.
Almost
Where-
there.
Okay, I think
Can
I
I
got it.
read it when you get it? Like in
Yeah,
a voice?
yeah, you
All right.
can read it, yeah.
I do like dramatic or something.
Take it away.
I gotta. What does this say? Okay. What would be a good entry price for the Switch 2? Do you think $350 or $400?
That's a good voice, by the way. and I would categorize that voice around 75, 80 years old.
Like that.
And right now we have the Switch OLED at $349, so that's like $350, right?
Hmm.
I would love. It would be awesome if Nintendo maintains that price point for the Nintendo Switch 2 at $349, right? But most likely we're gonna have a $399 system, just because of the internals of the hardware. Even though the external will not change as much and it's not as expensive, you can give Nintendo props if the leaks are true, that they are just trying to cut costs and whatever they can to keep the model affordable for us, because that's what Nintendo's job is to give. They want to have their console in as many houses as they can, and not only that, but they want at least to have at least 3 to 4 to 5 systems per household, depending on your house, right? So with that, PlayStation and Xbox, they can care less if they have like 2 or 3. You're never going to see a house with 5 Xboxes or Xboxes, right? With the $500 to $600 price point. But Nintendo, because it is a handheld and a port in a console, they would love to sell 3 to 4 per household. They want Bobby, and they want Lily, and they want Tommy to have one. They want mom and dad to have their Switch, right? Whether it's a mobile portable one or the dockable one. And so they're gonna keep their prices at the lower end. Not sure if it's gonna stay very low, but I think that for $399, I see that $399. Yeah, I wouldn't rule out $350 because Nintendo's Nintendo. They might surprise us, and that would be super awesome. But I would say $399, which is $400. So what do you guys think?
Can I answer this one next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm itching to share my idea because
Yeah.
I've said this live before, but
Hold up. TM trademark. Copyright. TM.
Right.
Okay.
it makes so much freaking sense, and it avoids customer confusion, and it's also really pro-consumer and pro-Nintendo. You release not multiple models, just one Nintendo Switch 2 system, but one of them is $300 and does not come with a dock. The dock is available to be sold, to be purchased separately for $100, but there's a $400 version that is that same Nintendo Switch that comes with a dock.
Okay.
So right from the get-go, you have an entry point that is more affordable to family members that came off of spending a $300 Nintendo Switch, which was the bulk of the $140 million, unless the Nintendo Switch OLED has finally outsold the total amount of base Nintendo Switches. That might be possible. But regardless, you have a $300 more easy price point to get into, but you have the understanding of it is only portable for now. They do sell the other dock separate. You don't have to have any qualms about like, but it costs $150 to get the dock, and now the whole price is more. You know, the same price is just money allotment. We have $300 now for our family. The other $100 we could use later, and then we have the home console experience, or the $400 straight up, and then you have the same experience as you did with Nintendo Switch, where it could be on TV and at dock and portable mode.
Yeah.
Furthermore, what really makes this idea fantastic is if, as you know, probably the Nintendo Switch OLED model dock does have the innards to display images in 4K.
Yeah.
There's nothing that could be done with the system itself to capitalize on that, but the OLED dock specifically can. Unless the form factor is that much different, if the Nintendo Switch 2 can be used in a Nintendo Switch OLED model dock to take advantage of that 4K component, then you've just saved the problem that much more, where hey, you might not have the 2.1 cable, and it might just be the base 4K, or it might not have the swivel on the back that allows you to do this and that. But if you have an OLED dock at home, families, you could just buy the $300 model, and then now you have a pretty simple way of getting into the next generation, because you have a cost-efficient way and you have a way that's, you know, the full shebang. And I don't think it would confuse customers. And I don't know. I love it, but
I love that.
If you don't like it, it won't hurt my feelings.
I love it. You know,
we love it.
I love it because that will just guarantee Nintendo selling more systems. I think if Nintendo does that, they can literally sell close to the amount of systems that the Nintendo Switch has. You know, because you basically they're showing they care for people's pockets and families who already have at least the latest dock right in their homes. Oh, I already have a dock. It's compatible. All right, I'll get it without the dock. And of course, if they release a special edition dock with whatever, you can get that later on or whatever. But I love that idea. Hold on, let's see.
Yeah, because
wait. What? No, that's not it.
I was looking for the sound.
That's not it either. No. Go ahead. While I find out something, go ahead.
So what I wanted to add about that also to Paul's point and also to Mike's, I wasn't a Game Boy girl. Like, portable has not really been a thing for me unless I'm forced to do it. I'd rather be playing, you know, sitting on a couch or whatever. But getting the idea of having an actual dock that has that functionality, it'll be amazing. Because, for example, my boyfriend, he usually wants to play portable, but I want to play on the Switch. And when he's playing the Switch, I cannot play the Switch because, you know, we only have one Switch here in the house. But would it be amazing for us to have that option? I will buy 2 Nintendo Switch 2s and 1 dock. And that will give Nintendo a little bit more money, and also it'll be more convenient for me because that way I can be playing with the dock, and he can be playing with the Nintendo Switch 2, just being portable, right? It's more convenient for him. It'll be more convenient for me. Also, like, even the fact of, you know, getting together and we just have one dock here, and everybody can bring their Switch, and everybody can be playing locally. Something that doesn't happen that often anymore because of online and everything. Yeah. So I feel like that'll be amazing. I mean, that'll be like a great selling point also for the dock to be able to do something more than not just being a dock and being able to, you know, just put your Switch on it. Because there are a lot of brands out there that were making their own docks, and it was pretty much just, you know, a dock that will allow you to display whatever you're playing with an HDMI functionality, and that was it. But it's just plastic. There's nothing in it aside from the ports that you have on the side and stuff like that. But it would be amazing if we could do more than that, right?
I got something spicy to add to that. Before that, do you have anything to add, Zach?
I do. Mine's a little different though. So if you're adding something spicy to Lily's, you should go first.
Okay, so there was a patent that was discovered by the Odyssey. It had to do with the dock, but the dock was also a portable streaming device, meaning a hub. Okay, so it was a hub where you could also, let's say you buy a Roku, you buy an Apple TV, you know, it's like a little portable hub there that has Hulu, Netflix, all that stuff installed on the hub. Then that next Nintendo Switch dock is not just going to be a paperweight there. It's also going to be a hub. Whether you have a Switch on it or not, it'll still read the apps that you would have in it, and you can also update it via. If you turn it on, it'll read it, and what you'll get without the Switch installed on it is your little icons for Hulu, or Netflix, or Disney Plus, or Apple TV Plus, whatever like that, right? You install the Switch, it'll automatically detect the Switch, and then you can start playing. It's like when you insert a disc in a Wii or a Wii U, you see that little disc come up in the corner, but you still have all the other apps there. You know, that's what the patent was describing. You know, so like a hub, and that could be an incentive to people who want to just kind of reduce the clutter on their TV stands, right? If you have a hub and you also have that dock that works for the Switch as well, then people might say, you know what? Why do I need this Roku, what do I need this? Whatever, Google, whatever, blah blah, whatever TV thingy is called. But that's just something that I want to throw out there. That I know that the current dock is just a dock. It is just that. It just that's why I think they even have a little docks like this. You can just plug it in and you don't even need a dock. But the next dock is expected to be, hopefully, if they go by the patent, again, I don't know. If they go by that, it just makes perfect sense for Nintendo to become make it an entertainment hub for gaming and for streaming as well. So just throwing that out there, which is pretty spicy if you ask me.
It's why is it spicy? So I am hoping, and I'm actually kind of optimistic. Like, we have a lot of really crazy ideas that we talk about on podcasts like this one, where it's just like, oh, would it be cool if they did this and if they did that?
Yeah.
And like those are like, oh, like dream come true type thing, but not actually like something we're expecting. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily expecting this, but I wouldn't be surprised because Nintendo's whole thing is innovating. Like, innovating your gameplay experience. You look at the difference between an Xbox One and a Series X, and then you look at the difference between a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5. The difference was big, but it was big quality of life differences. The functions of the system were basically the same. The menus of the system, the Xbox menu is the same, and PlayStation is almost identical between a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 as far as like the operating system, how it works and whatnot. The biggest differences are it's faster. You can have 6 different games loaded at once and start different ones without any like loading time and yada, yada, yada. Where Nintendo has always been like, yo, we're going to drop a handheld with 2 screens. And then it's like, oh, yo, we're going to drop a home system that's like completely motion controlled. And then they're like, yo, you remember our 2-screen handheld? We're going to take that, but we're going to make it 3D. And so I feel like the general consensus is the Switch 2. Like, we keep calling it a Switch 2. We're not calling it the next Nintendo system. We're all expecting an actual sequel system, something that functions relatively identical to the Switch. And so that's normally an iterative? Is that the right word, Mike? Okay, it's like an iterative type upgrade where it's like, oh, this part's improved, that part's improved. But that feels very un-Nintendo to me. And I feel like Nintendo has to look for one way that they can spice this thing up, whether it's the swivel or they have to throw something unconventional in there.
There is that.
And so
there is that other patent for the joysticks act like the triggers on the PS5.
Yep. So I feel like they're gonna do like 3 or 4 things like that. So we have the joystick, we have this swivel thing potentially on the back, and something that I've been thinking about is this new PlayStation Portal. You know, how it's not a wireless PlayStation, it's not a PSP. It literally lets your actual system do the heavy lifting and then just kind of like streams it to the system in your hand.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking, the Wii U had so much cool stuff going for it underneath all of the like nonsense, and having 2 screens, it functioned a lot like a 3DS. You had your handheld screen and then you had the screen on the TV. I remember playing Smash 4 and they had this cool option where you could use your 3DS as a controller. You had to have the game of Smash 4 in it, but it wasn't like you were playing online in a lobby, like cross compatibility between the Wii U and the 3DS. The 3DS was registering as a controller. And so if we were to have 2 different versions, because I don't think they would drop a Pro necessarily, but if we were to have kind of how we have the Switch Lite and the Switch, we have a Switch 2 Lite and a Switch 2. But the Switch 2 Lite, which is handheld only, you can also use that if you would like as a separate screen. You can stream to it just like you stream from your PlayStation 5 to your Portal. And so if you're able to use your Switch Lite as a screen for your Switch, now you have dual screen functionality. And so I could see there being, because we've heard rumors about that separate screen add-on potentially.
Yeah.
But like, what if you don't need that add-on? What if you can just use your Switch, like your original Nintendo Switch or your Switch Lite, to stream from the system as a secondary controller?
You're talking about the patent. There's a patent that talks about and they're basically streaming from the actual system to the dock. So it actually makes sense.
But I'm hybriding it with the OG Switch.
Yeah.
So like you have a Switch currently, you could use your Switch 1 as a controller or handheld version of the Switch 2. Because we already have cloud streaming. It'd basically be the same thing, but your cloud would be your Switch 2.
Yeah.
And so that would allow different levels where you can have the Lite, which is just handheld, but then you can connect it to your dock, your hub or whatever, and stream from there. So I'm excited.
I mean, there's so many ways Nintendo can say this. You know, and Nintendo is known for being they're known for being very adventurous with their systems, right? One thing I would say is that this is not Nintendo from the past, right? This is not the same exact president that we've had. A president that loves development, who is very creative, right? Iwata, right? Iwata was the president before he passed. No, may he rest in peace. He was a creative. He loved video games, and he was a developer, right? But the one we have now, he's a numbers guy. He's a finance guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that we have a numbers guy, and we're about to break the record for most consoles sold, right? I think it's gonna happen. I think Nintendo Switch could easily reach 150, 160 million. You know, and I think it could easily happen this year. If we continue to push the Switch this year, and Paul can tell me more about this a little bit. But with Shintaro Furukawa, like I said, I compare him to Tim Cook from Apple, right? Under Tim Cook, Apple became the first $1 trillion company. How did they do that? Well, if you put iPhone, well, let's say iPhone 12, I think, actually iPhone 11, iPhone 10 was the last one from Tim Cook. If you put iPhone 11, iPhone 12, iPhone 11 and 10 and 10s next to each other, you won't tell the difference. But if you put iPhone first one and you put the 15 next to each other, wow, that's a big difference. But if you put them next to each other by generation, you can hardly tell the difference. But there is a difference there, right? I believe that Shintaro Furukawa is the same way. He'll probably give us a console that looks and acts just like the Switch. And if you put them side by side, there might be a chance that they both look the same, because they might have a bigger screen on this one, controllers different on this one or whatever, but they might look similar. But in reality, there is an upgrade in the newer one, right? And so this system has proven to have really great sales and to be successful in the market, because people love to take their system with them and at home. Why not follow that same trajectory, right? And I feel like he has that same mentality, numbers, and that's why I feel like I feel good about the next Switch, because if it's anything like what Apple is doing with their iPhones, Nintendo can literally, skyrocket to into another realm. Look what they're doing now, under this president. Super Nintendo World, the movies, everything, they're expanding like crazy, because what he's doing is securing Nintendo's future as a brand. Let's say, no, this is never going to happen. Okay, never going to happen. Nintendo stops making consoles, right? They still have Hollywood. They still have the theme parks, right? And so it's like there's for success and for longevity within the company. You're right, Paul?
Sorry, I thought I muted it and I was just a little bit off, so didn't mean to cough into the microphone.
You're good, man. You're good. Paul, anything you want?
I have a little cough. Sorry.
You have the latest numbers for Nintendo so far?
Like from Famitsu sales?
Yeah, for systems.
They will report soon 141 million. So that's unofficial, but they were on the path to hitting their projection a little bit earlier. So they gave themselves, a full 3 months to do the 1.5 million, and then that 1.5 million was actually achieved like within around the time that Princess Peach Showtime came out. So within those last 2 weeks, you'll see something closer to like 1.76 or something.
Mhm.
I don't know what the sales are exactly, but it should be around 141 million from the previous 139.36. That's a lot. That's staggering.
It is a lot. It is a lot. It's crazy. I mean, Nintendo is I think Nintendo's on the right track. I think that they're happy already. I think they're happy with Nintendo's success. And they're taking their time. they're taking their time for the next one. We are about 15 minutes to 20. Well, we got about 20 minutes left. We're gonna go ahead and start the Q&A, right? Let's start the Q&A.
Sounds good.
Shout out to our audience. We just hit 60 likes. Thank you guys so much on YouTube. 60 likes on YouTube on Mike Odyssey YouTube channel, and that seriously, helps so much.
Yeah,
And we really appreciate it.
And we have 45 right now. We have 110 watchers across all networks. We have at the Mike Odyssey, we have Lily Hyrule. We got the Paul Gale Network. We have at another Twitter. We got Facebook. It's in my camera's in the middle.
Everywhere.
I do that too.
I mean, between all three channels we're streaming on, we have 113 now. So thank you guys. You guys have been amazing. Go ahead.
Sorry. I keep doing that. Like you're good.
No, go ahead.
Can I give a quick update about what I'm doing tonight to our watchers?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm doing starting tonight, I am streaming Smash Bros on my YouTube channel after the podcast ends. I'm calling it the Nintopics post podcast party.
Yeah.
So that is starting whenever we finish here. I'm gonna jump into Smash. So I would love to hang out with whoever's still here.
Sounds good. And then if you have any questions, go ahead and make sure I'm gonna start reading from now because I know this is questions. There are questions from before. So if you have a question, can you write it again? That way we can go ahead and start from the bottom. That way we know we're not looking for the questions all over the chat, and we know the questions. So go ahead and at Mike Odyssey, and then I'll go ahead and highlight those questions so that we can go ahead and answer them. And if you have a question for anybody in particular, you can still add Mike Odyssey. That way that the comment is highlighted, and then question for, and then you ask a question or a question for the group, question for anybody's particular. Okay, I think we have one here. I just saw it as I was talking. Let's see here. That's not it. Okay, can whoever posted the question go ahead and post it again? That way I can actually see it from the bottom.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now sounds familiar. Where's that from?
I can't tell if you're joking.
What?
That's from the song Started from the Bottom by Drake.
When your hair's done, when your nail's done.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
When your nail is
hair's done, nails done, everything did. I'm not singing it for the reason so that your stream doesn't get
I don't know familiar with that song.
All right, Zach, let's start singing to get this thing copyrighted right now.
Let's go.
No, I'm not sure if the chat heard us because they're so busy like adding each other and everything. Like, all right, if you have, okay, we got one. If you guys have any questions, make sure just like this one at Mike Odyssey, and then ask your question. That way we can see it. Welcome, AB James. All right, so first question here by Dr. Marvin Van Nostrand says, do you think Nintendo will cease production on current Switch models, or do a price drop on them when the new one is released? I do believe that eventually Nintendo will cease production of the system. Mm-hmm. I think they've already started to begin. I think they've already kind of dwindled down production, and I think they're just trying to get rid of the stock they have in now. That was one of the leaks. Now I'm gonna do my quotes every time I say leaks or rumors, right? Because that way it's not coming from me; it's coming from somebody else. Quotation marks. And that was one of the leaks that we heard. That Nintendo is just kind of one of the reasons for the delay. Is that they have a big stock they need to get rid of, and so they're trying to get rid of the stock before they introduce the next system. So if they're trying to get rid of the stock, that kind of tells you that they kind of halted in making more, you know. And they're right now currently in production of the next system. They're trying to make as many as they can. Last report was like they're trying to have 10 million units by the drop date. So that makes it good that you get one instead of having to have a stopper, steal it from you. So I personally think Nintendo's done with the Switch production. I think they're getting rid of stock, and I think they're currently producing the Switch too. Anybody want to jump in?
Not done producing.
I would say that I agree. Not specifically they're like cutting production just cold turkey. They're kind of slowly getting into it. But if I would speculate something in terms of the price drop, because the Nintendo Switch was delayed because we were kind of expecting it this year, just as they did with when they launched Tears of the Kingdom, they set up a very short, very limited sale for Breath of the Wild, which, if you have never played Breath of the Wild, that was your opportunity for you to buy it. So I don't really think that Nintendo will drop the price and keep it like that for a very long time. So if they were to do a price drop on the Nintendo Switch, once they announce the Nintendo Switch 2, it'll be for a very small percentage, but it's going to be a good percentage. And it's going to be for a very short time. So if that were to happen, be ready. So yeah, that'll be my take on that.
Yeah. Or I would say, because I didn't answer that part of the question, but I would say they're most likely to give you free games, and add it to the console with the console than to actually drop the price.
Okay.
They're still selling games on consoles like nothing, right? I'm like, okay, we'll do it this time. Instead of dropping the price, we'll just add the free game.
Right.
Choose your game within Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, or Mario Maker, right? And then that's their price drop kind of thing, like adding games to it.
That could be their response for a price drop. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, what do you think?
I don't think they're done producing Nintendo Switch units yet. A while ago on Twitter/X, I put up this chart, and I was trying to find it right now while we were talking, listening to you speak, rather. And I couldn't find it off the top of, I couldn't find it right now, but off the top of my head, roughly, with the exception of Wii U, every Nintendo system has sold millions into its successor's life. After the 3DS came out, you look at the old Nintendo DS sales, it still sold several million more units for a few years. And then those numbers started to trickle. But, for years afterwards, it continued to sell. For several years after the Nintendo Switch came out, the Nintendo 3DS continued to sell a few million copies. In fact, this week was the first week after, I think, 685 weeks that Famitsu finally stopped tracking individual weekly sales of the 3DS in Japan. And you're like, wait a minute, really? All this time? Yeah. It wasn't moving anything impressive, and Nintendo actually stopped creating new 3DS machines a couple of years ago, but those were still on store shelves. But even when they stopped making them, that was still a few years into the Nintendo Switch's life. We sold another 5 or so million into Wii U's life. GameCube still sold into Wii's life. Like, not a whole lot, but Nintendo has the ability to find a different audience, that is still interested in the former system, and they could either price drop it, which I do like the idea of a price drop, especially if Nintendo Switch 2 is out. Can you just imagine a $100 Nintendo Switch Lite out there?
Yeah.
Wow. Who wouldn't buy that? And if someone says, dude, that's unrealistic, that's never going to happen. 9 years after PlayStation 2 came out, which was 3 years into PlayStation 3's life, Sony dropped the $300 PS2 eventually down to $100. Things do drop after time. Parts become cheaper. They become, easier to make, easier to produce, easier to put in there. And then you're appealing to two different demographics. Positive word of mouth still keeps an old system attractive because it still offers something different and something good enough that the cutting edge new people don't need anymore, but the certain people don't need the cutting edge and they're just happy with an entry point level platform.
Yeah.
What doesn't happen is people flocking to a system when it doesn't have a good ecosystem anymore. When people stop talking about it because the developer stops publishing, stops supporting that system, that's when the sales aren't that hot. And some Nintendo systems haven't sold as well as others when the successor came out, but all of them did. And I said with exception of Wii U, to be fair, Wii U still sold a little bit more into Nintendo Switch's life, just really not much, not in the millions like some of these other ones. So I think if we get to a point, well, we will eventually get to a point where Nintendo Switch 2 is out, I think the base Switch drops. But what Mike said, I also think is going to happen before Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, and that is some kind of new, attractive, possibly permanent bundle where maybe Nintendo doesn't outright drop the price of the system, but it's a clever way of a price drop, and that is a 2-game bundle, $100 value or something like that, in with Nintendo Switch all the time. And that's what you get when you spend your $300. You get Nintendo Switch and, I don't know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Super Mario Odyssey or something like that. That's a pretty good way to do it. And you could also then say, we do count those software sales because what we actually did was price drop the hardware. You know what I mean? Or you could say, oh no, we're counting the hardware sales because we made the games free. Or in reality, it's a combination of both happening. You know what I mean? So that's my multi-tiered answer to that. Price drop eventually, but probably some kind of attractive bundle before then. At least my thought. Could be wrong, but
yeah. About you made me go look on eBay when you said that the 3DS was being still sold new in Japan. And I'm like, new 3DS, brand new, and all of the new ones sealed come from Japan, brand new. So
yeah.
There is still a chance that they'd buy a brand new sealed in box Nintendo 3DS.
It's
in almost any edition, because I'm looking at a whole bunch of editions here. Zelda,
it's crazy, but yeah. Up until last week. Now that doesn't mean that you still can't go to Japan right now and find one in stores that's new, but Famitsu has finally decided to stop tracking it because it's just been, this was a recent tweet that I put up, so I could find this one a lot quicker than the other thing. Yeah, I was right. 685 weeks, 13 years of the system still selling new units and Famitsu tracking them. That's insane.
That's Nintendo.
I have just been cracking up because when you were talking about the numbers selling, you triggered a memory from last September 2023. A Wii U sold from a store in America.
Oh yeah,
I just remember that random sales number. It was it was the first one since 2022 or something.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that's
I remember that too. I forgot what store it was, but it was I remember. Right.
But yeah, I pretty much agree with you. So
that's funny.
I don't need to say anything other than the random Wii U selling last year is my contribution to that.
That's hilarious. I mean, right now, just a little shout out. We have 120 people across all platforms watching us right now. So thank you so much for for being with us on a Friday night. You could be doing anything else, watching the movie popcorn. You know what? Let me stop giving you ideas. He'll leave. But thank you so much for being here with us. Right now we are in a Q&A part. So go ahead and add Mike Odyssey in the chat, and I can highlight your comment, and then we'll answer it to the best of our abilities, right? Because some questions require a little bit of speculation, a little bit of thought process, right? But we'll answer them anyway, and we'll give you our opinions if we know. I don't know much, but I will try.
And they've gotten us to almost 70 likes on YouTube. So
noise.
We said 60 just a couple of minutes ago.
I
think we can get to 100 before the stream ends. I believe in us. I believe in the chat. We can do
Easy,
it.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So next question comes from Alice Sala, Mike Odyssey, and Crew. Every year Nintendo releases a Zelda game. What do you think we will get this year? I really hope to get Wind Waker and T, which is Twilight Princess. What do you guys think? I want to go with Lily from Hyrule because she's in Hyrule already, so might as well.
Well, it's just that I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna go with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, 100%. Yes. But you know what? I feel like I read a comment here on the chat, and I know that this is also something that happens to a lot of people. Not everybody loved the Wind Waker, but let me tell you this. Give that game an opportunity. Give that game a chance. It's a wonderful game. But to that point, it'll be, hopefully that's going to be the case. Like, if they can bundle them, that'll be great, because that way people will buy the bundle, just as they did with Mario. We got the 3D All Stars together and everything. That'll be nice. That way people can get into playing the Wind Waker and giving that beautiful game an opportunity. Because if they announce Twilight Princess, it's gonna go like selling like crazy. Because I know that for a fact a lot of people loved, and that until this day is one of the favorite out there. Not mine, unfortunately, but I love Twilight Princess, but it's still not my favorite one. But yeah, it'll be something like that. Now, I don't really think that they're gonna do a remake. This year, I doubt it. Like, if what they did with Link's Awakening sounds more happening, but not for Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Probably for another title and probably for another year. So let's hope that's gonna be the case.
It'd be cool. We got like a Triforce pack. We got Wind Waker, we got Wind Waker, we got Twilight Princess, and then we get another one. I don't know what's going on. Any other game? Maybe a remake of some sort, or an anniversary edition of some sort. I don't know. But it'll be cool. We get like a Triforce kind of pack. I agree. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm very hopeful and optimistic that trend is not going to break. I don't know if it's a pack, if it's a collection, or if it's going to be a Link's Awakening type remaster or remake. Kind of like we saw with Mario Wonder, like you referenced earlier. No one knew that was a thing. And then all of a sudden, the leakers leaked it like 3 days before the Direct. No one knew that was a thing until they were ready to show us. And so I'm very optimistic that the same type of thing is happening with something Zelda related, and that we will get some sort of I feel like I'd rather have another Link's Awakening type remake than a
That'd be amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think if we do get if we get a remake, let's say of Ocarina of Time, that's not gonna be Switch. It's gonna be Switch 2. Probably Switch 2. That game is too big. To get a remake and then to be on Switch at the end of its life, I don't think it's gonna come to Switch. I think it's gonna be Switch 2. I think that if we do get a remake of maybe of Oracle Seasons, Oracle's Ages, or even Link to the Past, in the form of Link's Awakening, that'll be good, right? Like a little game like that.
I could see. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like I have like some sort of lag because I've done that like 4 times.
What you're doing is actually kind of fulfilling prophecy, because I was about to go back to you.
Okay. I could see, I know we've talked about, and I was on the same page as you last week, that I wouldn't see Ocarina of Time remake coming to the Switch. However, I've slightly changed my stance on that because I feel like what we've talked about with the library, if you get it on one system, you get it on both type thing.
Oh, yeah, you're
And
right.
so I could see that being a selling point where it's like, hey, it's it's 1080 on the Switch, but it's 4K on the Switch too. And so that way it's not they're not cannibalizing each other's sales. Like you have just as good a reason. If you can't afford a Switch 2, you're still going to buy games and give them money. And then when you're ready to go to you have an incentive to go to the Switch 2 because it's like, but I want to play Ocarina in 4K.
Yeah, and almost like that, like PlayStation did. Like I was holding back on the PlayStation for a very long time because I was like, there's nothing for the PlayStation that actually gets me there. But they were selling their titles with PlayStation 4 with an upgrade. Like as soon as you get the PlayStation 5, you'll be able to upgrade it for PlayStation 5, which I think is great. So if they do something like that, it'll be amazing. Yeah,
I agree. All right, take your 6 cents as could Nintendo give us a release month and a code name for Switch 2 at the earnings meeting? Hey, everything is possible, right? I mean, I do believe that we are in Nintendo Switch 2 fiscal year, meaning we've entered. This is the first month of Nintendo's brand new fiscal year, and I think that this fiscal year we will hear from Switch 2. So if Nintendo is gonna hint at this fiscal year to their financial backing, people, then they are gonna. I don't know. It's possible we can get a code name. After the code name, we could get a trailer, like that teaser trailer. After the teaser trailer, we'll get the event, and then we'll get the release, and that could be in that order. Right? Nintendo's big on code names, right, Paul?
Nintendo, yeah. I mean, Dolphin with GameCube, Project Cafe with Wii U, NX with Nintendo Switch, Revolution with Wii. Project Dream with N64. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that itself is like literally the, I mean, I can't go back to maybe Paul remembers and Super Nintendo and Nintendo codes, but I think we were too young for that. But if they did, they probably did have a code back then, or maybe because they didn't, because it was the 80s and they were actually in the middle of the gaming revolution, but more than not, they've had a code for their systems, and so there is a possibility that we could get another code this year too. So I wouldn't rule it out. What do you guys think, Lily and Mr. Zachary?
definitely.
Yeah, especially with their new president being a numbers guy, like you were talking about, I could see that being more likely than in the past for them to just straight up tell their investors around what time this will be dropping.
Good question. Without thinking, I'm going to give you 2 seconds to come up with the code name. Zach, go ahead. 1.
Firebird.
All right, so Nintendo code Firebird. Same thing, Lily.
I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry. I am terrible with
Just
names.
make up anything for what do you think the code name gonna be?
Rocket.
You have Fuecoco right next to you. Fuecoco.
Yeah, for Coco. I don't think they're gonna go with a Pokemon name, but yeah, I'll go. Oh, I just killed my Coco.
Oh no, he's gone. He's
fine. He's fine. I said Rocket. I don't know why.
Okay, Rocket.
That was the first thing that popped into my head. So.
What do you think, Paul?
TOO 2.
2 for Switch 2. I'm gonna
because it's 2, as in it's also in development. It also plays Nintendo Switch games. It is the Nintendo Switch also.
That's good, right? You're right. It's good. That's good. I mean, in a way, NX, Nintendo X is also like another word for like Switch to kind of like, so we didn't get that at the time, but now we get it. So I'm gonna say,
I figured it just stood for next.
Yeah,
like it's the next one.
That's probably it. I'm just making stuff up.
We are making stuff up.
I'm gonna pick the Nintendo. I'm stuck between Swivel.
Oh yeah, because the button.
Code Swivel, or I don't know. I'll just go with Swivel. With Swivel, that's the code name for the next Switch. We're working on Code Swivel. That's horrible. That is horrible. All right, let's go here. We have a couple more questions to go. Do you think the leaked Nintendo Selects games for cheap is true? For games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Metroid Dread, etc. Wait, when was this leaked? When did this happen? Let me go look it up. First time I hear about it.
Well, you are looking it up. I'll say yes, I do. Because I feel like Metroid Dread is a very strange inclusion if this is fake. Because Metroid Dread is relatively new to be ultra cheap selects game. But if you're building hype for a new Metroid Prime, then getting more people into Metroid at a cheaper price makes sense. And that is why I believe this is true.
Okay, go ahead, Lily.
Just like they did with again, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. So that sounds something that might happen.
All right, so I found it right away. It has to do with when Nintendo started removing some games, and there's a list of games that because Nintendo was removing, I think, the physical copies of these games. The rumor was that they were to become selects, and then we have Paper Mario: Origami King, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Pikmin 3, Metroid Dread, Kirby Star Allies, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Super Mario Bros. U, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Engage, Yoshi's Crafted World, WarioWare Get It Together, which is a new game. It's pretty, a couple of months old. Nintendo Switch Sports, Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, Mario Maker 2, and Mario Strikers Battle League. So those are the games that were removed from physical sales, and so that's what led to the leak of them becoming selects. Hey, and we never know. That could be true. Could happen. What do you think, Paul?
I think it's coming. I think just like the price drop, that's how you elongate the Nintendo Switch life cycle, by having a Nintendo Selects or a Nintendo Player's Choice or a Switch Selects line, because it keeps the system vibrant. And it's happening this late in. They haven't done that yet. That's just going to be a jolt of energy to reinvigorate some sales. Nobody wants to buy into an ecosystem that's dead just because a new shiny pretty toy is out. But if they could keep the old one thriving in a way by new Nintendo Switch Online games, a price drop for older hardware, or a price drop for Nintendo Selects, that's going to keep it vibrant enough. And I think it'll happen. That exact list possibly, but something will.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and read these two last comments from Joycey. And Joycey is a co-host. She has a really good insight here. There's here is another POV. Give the people what they want. Pack Switch 2 with as much power as possible. Keep making AAA games, and then collect them all. Collect all third-party games. And then she continues to say, now is the best time to capitalize on the success of the original Switch, and we will pay for it because it will be worth it. And I 100% agree. I think Nintendo should capitalize on the success of Switch 2. Give a more powerful system. Don't go crazy inventing something completely new that people won't know or get confused about. Just keep it simple, keep it straightforward, and keep it powerful. Cass agrees?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody's
I
tired.
do.
All right. So, wait. This is a good question here, real quick. When is Nintendo 64 Switch Online games updates will be? Well, right now we just had an update for any Super Nintendo. There was 2 games added. So Nintendo is. I think we had 2 64 games added last month. If I'm mistaken. 2 Nintendo 64 games. But Nintendo does for online games for NSO right now. They just do them wherever. They drop them wherever. They used to do them once a month, and then they kind of slowed down because now we have so many games that they could now take their time and select prior games little by little, right? but I think Nintendo is always updating NSO. When is the next 64 NSO update? Nobody knows but Nintendo.
Yeah.
And with that, my friends, we have hit the 2-hour mark. This is the time of the podcast where we introduce the cast, the all-star cast, once again. Let you know where you can find them and what they have doing. What is going on in their corner of the YouTuberverse, and then so you guys can go ahead and follow them wherever you may find them. And yeah, let's go ahead and start with Lily from Hyrule. Where can we find you?
Thank you, Mike. Well, you can find me everywhere. It's Lily Hyrule. Pretty much, yeah, everywhere. But here on YouTube, whoever is watching this on my channel, this is gonna be a new thing. So, it's gonna be a little bit, you will need to adjust to it, but yes, you can also watch it here on Mike's Odyssey YouTube channel as well. I am slowly getting back to my regular schedule, but you will find new content on my YouTube channel, especially for the Nintendo Weekly, now that I set up my new prompter. So we're gonna have more about that soon. I am currently working on other videos, not just news, of course, and my Zelda marathon is still ongoing on my channel. And yeah, other things that I'm doing on social media, of course, like Instagram has a little bit more like different kind of content, reels and other stuff there. You'll be able to find it there. But thank you so much. That's pretty much it.
That is awesome. Let's move it over to Zach, the man Hendrix. I couldn't think of a word.
I don't know. You said the man, so I was like, all right, like let's do it. Oh man. Anyways, that was weird. So also too, quick shout out to Lily, because that last question that somebody asked about Nintendo Switch online updates, Lily posts those. I just saw that post. You linked to your website earlier, where she does a little write up about the games that are coming out and shares them. So she would actually be a great source for that type of question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But you can find me on Twitter / it's on this side, Twitter / X at Zach Youngcaf Zach. Everywhere else, Zach Hendrix Media, Zach Hendrix Voiceovers. They'll both bring you to my Instagram, my YouTube, and whatnot. And speaking of my YouTube, I am streaming Smash as soon as this stream concludes. My stream's actually live, just sharing the podcast right now.
Yeah.
So with that said, you can find me there in a couple minutes.
And then let's take it over to Nintendo's favorite son, Mr. Miyamoto's cousin, Paul Gill Network. Paul, what do you have going on and where can we find you?
I just theorized a little something with a small tease. Could mean absolutely nothing, but I noticed a few days ago that John Cena put up a random picture of Link on his Instagram. But that is what John does. He likes to just put up random photos without any kind of context and allow the audience to infer what they
speculate
want. And
yeah.
But the thing is, I was like, you know what? When I played Nintendo Switch, specifically Breath of the Wild and 1-2 Switch with John Cena back in 2017 for the Nintendo commercial shoot, I talked to him, and he is a Nintendo fan, a bit of an older school Nintendo fan, but he likes Legend of Zelda.
What are you about to say, Paul?
Well, no, I was just being silly,
confirmed.
What if he did this because he's actually involved in the Zelda movie? So it was just a funny little thought. Like, in some capacity, he likes to share random things. Sometimes they have a meaning. Well, they always have a meaning. Yeah. But sometimes they might have a deeper meaning, and other times not. So
John Cena, Twitter.
We're gonna put a poll. We're gonna put a poll out and see. Would you rather have him as a Goron or as Ganondorf?
That's what I have you on Twitter and X.
And I'm working on rating Zach right here. Zach, can you post your link in the private chat so I can go ahead and copy it?
Yes, I can.
The other part of the question, I'm at Paul Gill Network on YouTube.
Listen. To add to that, to what Paul is saying, I can confirm from a source that they are in pre-production right now. I know we were waiting on the director to finish Planet of the Apes and stuff like that. Planet of the Apes has been finished and it's out next month. All right.
Yep.
And so he has already transitioned to the Legend of Zelda movie. Okay. They are in pre-production. They're doing this. The scouting is going on as we speak. Scouting is looking shooting locations, right? And so they do scouting and they do the shooting location and they do the casting around the same exact time. So right now they could be casting for the Legend of Zelda movie. We might see a presentation very soon. Hey, who knows? We might get John Cena as Ganondorf or Tingle. So
Tingle. Amazing.
I mean, they're gonna have something like a Zelda direct or something. Excuse me, a Zelda direct or something where they're gonna be showing like not a teaser, but at least sharing information and being very transparent about the Zelda movie, just as they did with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So yeah.
Suntendo guy said something, and I'm going to add one more to Suntendo guy's post. The Rock as Link, John Cena as Ganondorf, and Dave Bautista as Princess Zelda. And you have the three former wrestlers that made it Hollywood representing the Triforce.
Wait, the Rock as Link?
That's the one that shocks you, not Dave Bautista.
Whoa!
Just put a wig
I
on.
can see Dave Bautista as Princess Zelda, but hold it back, Paul.
Wait, hold on.
Blonde wig on him, please.
Wait, I didn't catch the rest. So the Rock as Link, Dave Bautista as Zelda?
No, so, okay, I'm just messing. Suntendo guys said jokingly, I'm assuming, The Rock as Link, John Cena as Ganondorf. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say Dave Bautista as Zelda.
Hey, Zach, check out Discord real quick.
Oh, cool.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'm very nervous for the movie. I have to say.
I'm happy. I don't know. I'm excited about that movie. I think for the first time, I was more scared about the Mario movie than I am the Zelda movie. I think I have more. I feel better about the Mario movie now that I've seen the Zelda. Zelda movie now than the Mario movie, because I can trust Miyamoto, right? I think
of course we can trust him, but
he's way too jealous with his own IP that he's not gonna let anything out of the ordinary or have Hollywoodize a movie. You know, like they did Dragon Ball Evolution. that was a disaster.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
that never happened. That's just. But yeah, that was just crazy. But anyway, you can find me here at the Odyssey every single day until I announce the Mike Odyssey show. I'll be doing videos almost every day about news, right? Mostly just trending topics. I know I used to do multiple topics. I'm doing one topic video so that we can have more time for discussion. Today's video did pretty well, 18,000 views. That's pretty okay. I never passed 6,000 or 7,000, but 18,000 is not bad. On the Nintendo Direct, and so I do videos basically just like that for now. But I'm working on the Mike Odyssey show, which is going to be a variety show, concentrated on Nintendo, variety, entertainment, and comedy. So I want to make you guys laugh a little bit. You want to know just a little bit of what's coming in the show? Watch today's video, the very beginning of it, just the very beginning of it. This will be more of that comedy and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Other than that, you can catch us here, the entire crew, Lily, Paul, Zach, Joycey, and I here at the Nintopics Podcast every single Friday night live. We'll be that cherry on top of your weekend, right? It's your weekend Sunday, and try to make you've had a long week of work and you want to sit back, relax with your cup of tea, cup of coffee, and the Nintopics Podcast on screen. That's where we come in, and to try to put that just little period at the end of the sentence, and you can have a end it in a good note, right? Here at the Nintopics Podcast. So we appreciate and we love everyone who made it to the stream today. Right after this, we have the host after show. I don't know what to call it. After show.
Podcast party.
the post podcast party over at the Zach Hendricks channel. I'm trying to figure out how to.
Oh, I gave you the permission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me go ahead and then do
Which I
that.
think that would be on by default.
Right. I think you have to turn it on your side.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Yeah, one there, two, no, less, more, maybe. So, no, I'm actually literally reading. It says show less, show more. Tags. Where am I? That is not it. Customize. No, that's not it either. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put this here. Put that there. And it's still. I think it says here. It's still giving me the same message. On the right. Let me refresh my page first. If I could.
I'll
Get that
refresh
going.
mine, I guess, too.
That. All right.
All right.
Got it. Okay. That there. That there. What is that? What is that?
Good old YouTube.
Trying to figure things out as you go.
Hold up. I found it. Sorry. I found it.
Okay.
Yay!
On that side, it's saved.
I found it.
He found it, guys.
I found it. Did it. Yep. All right, guys. So, with that said, thank you so much for being here. You guys have been amazing and are amazing. We will see you back here at the Nintopics Podcast next Friday. Same hour, same time, same channel, with the same heart and attitude. But before we let you go, we have two things we have to let you know. Number one,
Never give up.
don't do it. It's not the best thing to do. And when you give up the first time, it develops into a habit. It becomes a habit. You always end up giving up when things are hard. So don't do it. Stop. You. I'm watching you. Don't give up. And Lily,
And be kind.
very close. Zagger,
No, I really need to study that part because
Be kind. Rewind.
Rewind.
Rewind. And Zach, take it over.
Journey on my wayward son. Journey on.
And Journey. Well, let me cut this music off because the music background is kind of interfering with my pod. This is the music we need. Oh, that's not the music. What is this? That's not it. Hold up.
That's not the one.
That's not it either. Hold up.
What? What's wrong with my voice? Ooh, I did not know this was here. Okay.
Now
Interesting.
Wait, hold up.
Is that my voice? Is that my voice?
Yes. Good old Emperor's New Groove.
Wait, I thought I turned it off. It's still on. Okay, that's not it. What?
How do you turn it off?
Nintopics Podcast.
I need to turn this off first. Hold up.
Hello. Oh yes, I'm
Hey, you're back.
How about this one? No.
Hmm.
I have echo now. My voice. This one? That one? No. I'll try all of them. There we go. I found
Yay!
All things Nintendo.
it. With Paul Gale, Lily Hyrule, Zach, Joycey J, and Mike Odyssey. That's him.
Bye.
We got to do it again because Lily got it wrong.
Yeah.
Dance.
Nintopics Podcast.
You have to, and then jazz hand. If not, the algorithm will not accept it. 3, 2, 1, jazz hand. Now, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye,
Be
everyone.
good, be nice, make good choices, and yeah, be nice to people.
Yeah.
I think Zach is frozen.
Yep.
He's frozen.